Welcome to the Heart for God podcast. With many years of experience pastoring and helping to start churches, Dr. Jim Townsley has some practical and biblical advice that can be a great help to you and your ministry. On this podcast, Dr. Townsley and other guests with special expertise cover a variety of topics. His goal is to help you lead your church to be a healthy, strong, and balanced ministry, and for your family to be happy, healthy, and living for the Lord.
Hey, thanks for joining us today to the Heart for God podcast, and I have with me today Pastor Richard LeJeune. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to be here with Pastor Townsley.
So you just had a chapel devotion time with kids that are at S.M.I.T.E camp.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have in the middle of S.M.I.T.E camp this week. Have a great spirit here. Kids are just hungry, and you've taught. I'm sure hard-hearted audience versus a tender-hearted audience. This is definitely the latter. Tender-hearted kids, and they're here for the right reasons. And boy, they're having a great week.
So you are a pastor in Connecticut. Tell me about your church, how long you've been there, and a little bit about your background.
Sure. We just crossed the 10-year line.
Really?
June 28th.
Wow,
yeah.
It's been 10 years already.
Hard to believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what a great 10 years. Thankful. The church I pastor, Pastor Brown, he started the church back in 1980. And so we came in 2016, inherited a healthy church, and God's been doing some really great things down there. We're growing, and just a wonderful excitement, wonderful energy in the church. As far as my background goes, my mom and dad, who attend church here, met in Bible college, and then I was raised. I call myself a ministry brat. You've heard of military brats. I grew up all over the place. My mom and dad were nomads from one church to another, largely, and so we seemed to migrate north little at a time, from Louisiana to Mississippi to northern Alabama to Maryland. And God used each one of those ministries in my life to help teach me and prepare me for where I'm at today. And so, yeah, it's been quite a journey.
So, yeah, your parents are in our church here, and your dad, of course, was a principal for a number of years, and family's been a great blessing to us. And we support your sister and her husband in Fiji. In fact, I'm going over there this fall. That'll be an interesting.
Yeah, so are we. I haven't been over there, and I'm going in September for a couple of weeks. So, yeah,
they're getting a lot of activity of people going and visiting them.
They sure are. Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to that. I was hoping to go in January when the weather here is bad, and
that would be the time to go. Right, skip the winter and the weather, and go and stick your toes in the sand in Fiji. Yeah.
So you have something that really, through your dad's influence, was involved in this, and it's been developed into something called S.M.I.T.E camp. Explain a little bit about what that stands for, the acronym, and about what you're actually doing with this.
Sure. So this really started back in the late 70s, early 80s. My dad got saved out of a really rough situation and started going to a startup church shortly after he was saved. There's a man there named Jerry Patel, and Jerry, God had called him and his wife into child evangelism. And if you know Jerry, he's just a firebrand. He's just a dynamic personality. He took my dad under his wing. My dad's dad wasn't in the picture anymore. So one day he looked at my dad and he said, Tim, I have yet to find a teenager who doesn't live for himself, but just will wholly live for the Lord. And my dad said, well, I'll be that teenager. And so he said, well, prove it. Come follow me and do Bible clubs with me this summer. So they did all summer long, all across Baton Rouge. They did Bible clubs, and Jerry looked at that and said, well, maybe teenagers aren't worthless. Maybe I can actually use them in my work to reach little boys and girls who are tender to the gospel. So he took the concept of a CYIA camp, Christian Youth in Action Camp, and that structure is 1 week of training and then 1 week, the next week of Bible clubs. And he combined the two. So morning training, afternoon Bible clubs, and then you throw a camp meeting style preaching in the evening, and you just make it one really big week. And so he rebranded it from CYIA, which is more of an evangelical type camp, to S.M.I.T.E camp. S.M.I.T.E is an acronym that stands for Summer Missionary Institute of Training and Evangelism. And so for over 40 years, I think 47 years, they've been running a S.M.I.T.E camp in Louisiana, and God has used that. There will be stadiums full of heaven, in heaven of people who have gotten saved, both directly and indirectly. So we've brought that up here, that same concept up here.
So it's being done other places too, or overseas.
Yes, the missionary who is helping direct it here, he comes home for just a few weeks in the summer. He runs the one in Louisiana now, as Jerry Patel is aging out, still alive, but slowing down. And then he comes up here and runs this one. But he also oversees or has helped start 9 of them in Africa. And they see thousands of boys and girls come to club in each one of these. And I think they average about 5,000 boys and girls going to club per S.M.I.T.E,
Wow.
with 3,000 boys and girls get saved.
That's wild.
And
wow.
different dynamic over there, right? But an effective tool all the same.
So a lot of what's being done too comes from the old Child Evangelism Fellowship. That it's the same type of approach of teaching the Bible, teaching kids how to teach the Bible using visual aids and
Correct.
storytelling and
Yeah.
so on like that.
That's correct. Yeah. In the morning time, we put them through level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Each year, they come back to the next level, assuming they pass the test at the end of the week. But they're being taught in level 1 how to lead a child to Christ using the visual aid of a wordless book. And it's very thorough. And in level 2, they're being taught how to share a missionary story. Level 3, they're not only taught how to give the visual cards of a Bible story, but actually how to open up the Bible, study it, and develop a Bible lesson. And then level 4, they're being given leadership skills as now they're leading their peers with these Bible clubs. So, there's a lot of consequential things that come out of this. If you have your kids in this from your church, you're training the next generation Sunday school teachers on how to effectively teach in Sunday school, or even potentially for God to call some of these young people in church ministry, which we know we need more of, especially here in New England.
Sure. Yeah. So the concept is actually terrific. And you have people here that have come from Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, not just New England. We need to get the New England people to get on board with this, though. So
the people in the Southeast that have been going to the one in Louisiana believe in it so much. This is the 3rd year in a row that many of them have spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars out of their own pocket to come up here and help us host it. We even have some teenagers that come up here and go through it a second time after they did it down around Memorial Day in Louisiana. So they believe in it. We just need to get the people up here to believe in it.
Well, everybody's busy, and I would suggest anybody listening to this is not a teen activity per se, where you just bring your teen group. It's really for the serious-minded teens that you have. So you don't have to rally the troops and get new kids to come. It's really for training your best young people. Am I right on that?
Absolutely. If we could get churches to just give us 1, 2, or 3 kids out of their church, pastors and youth pastors have an innate ability to see potential in a young person that maybe doesn't even see it in themselves.
Sure, yeah.
If you have a teenager who's in love with the world, they're not going to love this at all. But if they have any heart for the Lord, they're going to get around other teenagers who have a heart for the Lord, and they're going to thrive in this environment. So, there's no doubt there's some carefulness in who we allow to come as pastors and youth pastors. But I would even add this: if you're on the fence about someone, I would encourage them to come, and you'd be surprised who works for and who it doesn't work for. And if it doesn't work for them, they spend a week of their life helping see boys and girls get saved. It's not the end of the world. They'll be okay. Yeah, but to answer your question directly, it isn't for the whole youth group. But I think if you have a couple of teenagers who have a leaning toward the Lord to love Him and serve Him, they're going to love it.
So the concept behind it is you're teaching. There's a good amount of teaching time. Then the kids go out and knock on doors and meet kids. They have an appointed time. They're going to have a Bible study. You figure out a location.
Yes.
And then
we have found 15 or so locations around Central Baptist and Southington here, whether it's New Britain or Waterbury, even here in Bristol, and where we've scouted them out in apartment complexes and things. And so the teens go and they look for boys and girls to come to a Bible club. We sit them under a tree or against the wall of an apartment building in the shade, and we will do an hour-long program. The teenagers put on an hour-long program.
The teens do it.
The teens do it. The adults are just simply they're watching, monitoring, make sure everything's safe and okay. But that's where the training comes in. So by the time you have a teenager who's in level 3 or level 4, they have now developed the skills to be able to lead their peers in level 1 and 2 in this. And so, listen, you have a 13-year-old boy. His voice is squeaking. He's still learning how to put on deodorant and take a shower. Yeah. But all the same, he's now standing up and he's leading in a pledge, or a Pledge of Allegiance, or he's leading in prayer. He's teaching a memory verse. Is he going to do it excellent the first time? Probably not. But he's getting that out. He's learning. And every year, I think last year, we're in the middle of it. We've had rain the first 2 days. Last year, we had 11 clubs go out. And we had 138 children enrolled in the club, and we had over 50 children get saved. Terrific. Teenagers doing all of that. So
they get excited. You know, if they want to serve God and they see what they can do, they get excited. I can see that. I have grandchildren that have been going. So
yeah, no, you've gotten to witness it firsthand, haven't you?
Sure. Yeah. No, it's really a terrific thing. I think if you can get. I was just talking to Brother Andrews last night about this. That if you can get one teen, one boy and one girl in your church, they're really good on fire for God. They tend to move out of their clique, and they're looking for new people that come to church, and they put them under their arm, or they see young people that are younger than them, and they start mentoring them or working with them, and that really gets the attention. I mean, that's a powerful thing in a local church.
Teenagers often just they need an opportunity to serve, to show that their heart really is there and with it. And so, you know, as a pastor myself, I know that I desire to have a youth group that isn't just about having fun. They're living for a bigger purpose, and so valuably important. This is going to provide that. At my church, I can speak to this. I have a youth pastor who's come in about 5 years ago, and he's really helped overhaul the spirit of our youth department and set it in a spiritual direction. S.M.I.T.E just kind of is that secret sauce that takes it over the top. And we have boys and girls in our youth group now that when a visitor visits youth group, they're almost fighting with each other about who's going to witness to them and lead them to Christ. When we have a junior church on Sunday mornings, we have a little boy or girl raise their hand for salvation. We have just an abundance of teenagers who are ready to take them off to the side with that wordless book and lead them to Christ. And so it's really it's great to see that within a youth group.
So even though it's a evangelistic outreach and a great thing, and certainly that's the heart of it, but it's really a leadership training. It's helping young people to give them the tools they need and understanding and the boldness, and in that environment, they get it.
At its core, it's discipleship for teenagers. It's taking them to that. I think what happens with a lot of teenagers and why they drop out of church when they turn 18, there's a lot of factors, right? But one of those factors would be that we saturate them with God's word in Sunday school. They know the stories of the Bible. I think a lot of times they just get bored with it. They go, I've heard that before. But when you can, and this isn't just true for teenagers, I think this is true for all Christians, when you can transfer from receiving to giving, and learn to give, boy, it just completely changes the whole dynamic of your growth trajectory in Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what's the cost? They have to pay something. Obviously, you feed them. I mean, they bring there's a chef, or there are the people that cook.
We eat good here. I want to tell you, this isn't camp food. This is another level of eating. We're charging, I think, $225 per camper for the week. And
that's
so
cheap.
that helps us cover our costs. We'd like to get it lower, but that's where it's at right now. But $225, and then counselors, I think we charge $150 for them to be able to come, or $125 to come in. Their counselors are $100 less, so that's helpful. And if you are a pastor or youth pastor, even if you have one or two, or maybe you have several in your youth group who you think this would be a good fit for, reach out to me. My cell number is 203-500-6794. And send me a text or call me, and I'd love to talk to you further about it. The dates for next year are Sunday, July 4th through the 9th. Now, we start Sunday evening, so that way the kids can get acclimated to who's on their team and can begin studying the materials for Monday Bible Club. We attend the service here at Central Baptist. By the way, Pastor Boyle did a great job Sunday night preaching, and it really got our camp off to a great start. So we attend the Sunday evening here at Central, a service here at Central, and then we're right into camp week. They stay in the dorms here on the property. And so
tonight you're going to a new church plant and participate in that. That's going to be
fun. You guys have started to help revitalize or start a church down in
started a church in Hamden, Connecticut.
Right? And so we'll be down there using their building tonight. And so that'll be neat to get to see that. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun.
It's cool. Now, again, you're Richard LeJeune, and spell that for everybody here. LeJeune, sometimes
LeJeune trips people up. There's no R in it. LeJeune is the spelling of my last name. I pastor White Oak Baptist Church in Stratford, Connecticut. And so if you want to look up our website, it's White Oak BC for Baptist Church, whiteoakbc.org/SMITE. So you can go there and look at our page. Follow us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, and so you can follow that also.
Well, that's terrific, and we appreciate what you're doing. I'm going to give you a little story. I don't know if I told you this or someone else. I forget who I talked to.
Let's hear it. Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm in Honduras. Did I tell you about Emily? I'm in Honduras on this mission trip. And your brother's in this ministry down there with the Hodges. So there's a girl there who's teaching daycare or kindergarten. She didn't actually have a degree, but she had a heart of a missionary, So she's in Honduras, and they're teaching English there. So she's learning some Spanish, but it was all in English, so it was a great opportunity for her. She's from Texas, and she's asked me different things, found out where I was from Connecticut. She said, oh, my brother, he went to Connecticut. So they had some kind of a camp or something going on, and he was there last summer, and I said, really? I said, I'm trying to think, where would that have happened at? And lo and behold, he came to S.M.I.T.E camp.
Oh, okay.
He was from Texas.
Okay.
And I'm in Honduras, and his sister is there. And so, after we talked about it, I said, that was at our church. I mean, that was the people in our dorm. And so I thought that was an interesting thing. Here I'm in Honduras.
To Honduras, and you met someone who you had to tie back to your ministry here through S.M.I.T E.
Exactly. Wow. Isn't that something? It's wild. But, I think his name was Dan Schoolcraft. And
okay. Yep.
But came from Texas.
I know the Schoolcraft family.
Yeah. And she's a great girl. So we had a good time when we were down there. Well, thank you so much for what you're doing. And hey, pastors, here's a really good opportunity to fire up key young people in your church. So you can be anywhere in the world and send them to this camp. And
absolutely.
It's just a great opportunity. Well, thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, consider sharing it with a friend. You can also follow at Dr. Townsley on Twitter or on Facebook at Jim Townsley.